Let's move to Saturday then, Nate. The first game on Saturday sees SMU traveling to Happy Valley take on Penn State. Both teams came short of their conference titles, losing in the conference title games themselves. What do you make of this game from a betting perspective?
Yeah, so out of the 4 games, the first rounds, this is kind of the one where I have really no idea what to do here. SMU, they had a very favorable ACC draw. They do deserve credit for
Mm,
tying the game against Clemson and coming back from down 17,
yeah.
which at a certain point, when you're down 17 in the ACC title, I'm sure Alabama fans were pretty excited by that idea of probably getting into the playoff just because SMU didn't show out well. But be able to force the tie late in the game, lose on that long field goal, I think the committee gave them the benefit of the doubt as they probably should have. But I just don't know what this SMU team is. It just because they avoided Miami in the regular season, avoided Clemson in the regular season. And I believe Penn State, they're a good team, but in their 2 toughest tests of the season, they lose at home to Ohio State in November. And then last week, they lose in the Big Ten title against Oregon. So it's a real tough game for me to kind of judge because SMU may be attractive as an underdog, but what if Penn State just out talents them? And they definitely do have the talent advantage on both sides of the ball in this game. And I think a lot of people are going to make a big deal about Penn State under James Franklin not being able to win big games. But those losses that they've had in kind of those big matchups has been as an underdog against Ohio State or past Michigan teams. So I think when Penn State has the talent advantage, like they will in this game on Saturday afternoon, I feel like Franklin and his team is going to kind of live up to the hype. Maybe not cover the spread, but we know Franklin does like know what the point spread is. He knows what the over under is. We've seen late touchdowns from Penn State in the past. I would be very scared of betting SMU plus the points for that reason. And I also think it's a little bit overblown that big game James nickname for Franklin that actually he can do well in a game where his team is the better squad on the field.
So let's look into the future a little bit past this game. Is there a way to bet on the futures of these teams?
Yeah, so I think my biggest takeaway from when the bracket was revealed on Sunday is Penn State, even though
Mhm.
they lost the Big Ten title game to Oregon, they ended up having a really favorable path where you get the ACC
Yep.
championship loser in SMU. You win this game, you play on New Year's Eve in the Fiesta Bowl against a Boise State team that obviously was a great story this year, but is definitely the worst team from a power rating perspective of the 12 teams in the
Yeah.
field, even though they're the 3 seed. And then you're also on the side of the bracket where you avoid Oregon, Texas, Ohio State until the championship. And on the lower part of the bracket is Notre Dame. It's also Georgia, but Georgia probably without Carson Beck. It seems like that injury might keep him out
Yep.
throughout the playoffs. So you could have a semifinal against either Notre Dame, who will also be playing 3 games in a short amount of time, or against a Georgia team with their backup quarterback in Gunnar Stockton. So
Yeah.
if you like Penn State in this game just to win, I think that you should invest on Penn State, find some props on teams to make the title. A lot of sports books offer
Yeah.
that. If you can find something like that in like the plus 250 range, or if you're feeling really bold and want to go Penn State to win the national championship, I don't think that's a bad look, especially because of their path.
Yeah.
And if you get to that game, then you have always the opportunity to maybe not hedge, but try to middle the game or just get a little bit out of it. So
Mhm.
I feel like Penn State is in a really golden spot where they could definitely make a run through this college football playoff.